Welcome back. Please be seated. My name is Kate Shannon Biddle. I am the Dean of Students at the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. It is my pleasure to welcome you today as we celebrate our 2020 Harris graduates. I would like to first introduce Dean Catherine Baker to share some thoughts with our graduates. Dean Baker.
As Dean of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy, I have the pleasure of welcoming back the class of 2020 to this year's hooding ceremony. Welcome back. Convocation is among the most treasured traditions of our university and school, and I know we all felt the loss of not being able to be in person last year to celebrate your accomplishments. That's why I couldn't be happier to be here today in person with you. It's been a long, hard road to get to this moment, but you have earned it, and today is your day. I'd now like to introduce David McMillan, who will give the student speaker address. David is a PhD graduate of the class of 2021 with master's degrees from the University of Michigan in Applied Mathematics and in Industrial and Operations Engineering. His involvement at Harris includes tutoring and teaching for multiple courses, helping to redesign Math Camp, and advocacy work. His research has received recognition through the Spencer Dissertation Fellowship, the AERA Minority Dissertation Fellowship, and invited talks at universities like UVA and Boston College. In July, David begins his tenure-track career as an assistant professor of economics in Emory University with a visiting scholar position at the Federal Reserve Bank in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Dean Baker, for that very kind introduction. First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, and also to my family, who is definitely here somewhere. There they are. Mom and Dad. Half of them have PhDs, believe it or not. I also want to take the time to recognize Cynthia Cook Conley. I don't know where she is. She is just the fabric of this school and has been for so long, and she deserves all the honor. As well as Milvia Rodriguez, just so many of the Harris staff. You just really do wonders for the culture for this school. And so, without further ado, I just wanted to tell you guys something that's been on my mind for a while. All of my efforts in pursuit of an academic career and to use my knowledge to reduce human suffering can all be traced back to timeless memories with my grandfather. His name was Joel McMillan. And Grandpa was my hero, but more than anything, he was my friend. I remember skating with him when I was just 4 years old. I was afraid to skate, and I still am. I cannot skate at all. But when I held his hand, the fear just disappeared. I knew he was going to protect me. And I never forgot about that feeling, the sense that someone was looking out for me, but it's more than that. When I held his hand, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be strong enough to protect someone else. And that's the unique kind of love that flowed between us. It characterized our relationship forever and lies at the brightest core of everything I've ever wanted to be and everything that I am. Grandpa suffocated to death. The man responsible for my spiritual optimism died ultimately because he could not breathe. And so my tower of strength and hope and resilience was reduced to a frail old man with despair etched between shallow breaths, saying it wasn't supposed to be this way. Grandpa died from a disease that is preventable through evidence-based practices, but which is deadly in the face of solutions which are too little, too late. At the Harris School, we learned that our impact extends far beyond the sphere of our intentions, and that's why it's so crucial that we ensure that our policy solutions are evidence-based. Yet, once the evidence has been established, what was once a question of analysis becomes a question of the soul. We don't talk about that in the classroom. But once the evidence has been established, our true moral character is laid naked and stripped from the cloak of objectivity that our privilege so conveniently affords us. And at that time, there's no mathematical model that can liberate us from the binary moral decision at our feet once the evidence has been established. And we understand rigorously how to dismantle the systems that suffocate others. We are forced to choose between what is right and what is convenient. And how dare we, of all people, choose the convenience of inaction? Apathy, after all, from the supposedly learned, is far more heinous than the harm caused by the unlearned. In any case, it would seem that everything that could have been learned from our inaction must have been learned by now. You're the class of 2020. You know better than anyone that the year 2020 was about watching the whole world suffocate to death with no remorse and no long-term solution, starting with the Earth itself. From issues with carbon emissions, no remorse, no long-term solution. Then a pandemic struck based on a virus that attacks the respiratory system. No remorse, few long-term investments in public health. And in the midst of it, we watched George Floyd suffocate to death for 8 minutes beneath an officer with no remorse. And still we see no long-term solution. And as protesters lined the streets of Minneapolis and Chicago and other major U.S. cities, tear gas filled their lungs, administered with no remorse and no long-term solution. You know, as someone with so many loved ones who suffocated to death from COVID-19 and from lung cancer and from asthma, I have to say, there's nothing more painful than watching a doctor offer a short-term solution that is too little, too late. But each of those loved ones, especially my grandpa, would agree with me now when I say that in the grand scheme of things, we cannot breathe without each other. We cannot breathe without remorse for those who suffocate, and we cannot breathe without long-term solutions. We cannot breathe without radical collective investment in clean energy to clear the lungs of the earth. And we cannot breathe without investment in public health systems to protect us from airborne pandemics. But not only that, we cannot breathe allowing the U.S. military-industrial complex to take the breath away from innocent brown people abroad. We cannot breathe allowing the noose of the prison industrial complex to choke black families, to choke black wealth, and to choke black mobility. And we cannot breathe allowing the legacy of colonialism to block the airways of self-determination within the island of Puerto Rico and the U.S. territories. See, we may have come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. We cannot breathe with the noxious fumes of anti-Semitism, nor the searing smoke of anti-Palestinian racism. We cannot breathe with the toxic stench of anti-Asian hatred, nor the haze of LGBTQ marginalization. And we cannot breathe drowning in a violent ocean of sexism, gaslighting, human trafficking, and gender-based violence that impacts women every day. We cannot breathe focusing only on symptoms and short-term solutions, and we cannot breathe without actively fighting the root causes of our societal asphyxia. In the last year, we watched in horror as 3 million lives were lost to systemic policy failures. We learned that all the knowledge and all the evidence in the world isn't nearly enough to save the world. So what do we do with that? Faculty, alumni, and staff of the Harris School, where we pride ourselves on impact down to a science, where we've chosen to put our faith in the evidence instead of something greater than the evidence. Was our time here meaningless? Was our achievement here meaningless? Are we meaningless? We are not. We are as meaningful as our actions. It is our actions that give meaning to our knowledge. It is our advocacy that gives bite to our analysis. It is our campaigning, our persuasive debating, our implementation that gives fire to our research. And fighting for what's right and acting on what's right gives true meaning to knowing what's right. Class of 2020, long after the pandemic has come to an end, I implore you to fight actively and openly for evidence-based policy, not just its analysis. Fight until our moral prowess guides our scientific evidence. Fight for long-term solutions to cure our societal asphyxia, and fight on again until the moral lungs of the earth are filled with the living breath of justice. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I now call upon Dean Catherine Baker and the designated faculty and staff who are here to assist with the presentation of degrees today. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Arts by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Arts, and I express the hope that your work will improve our understanding of public policy. Congratulations.
Hae Min Jung. Nigoran Sadikova. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Arts by the Board of Trustees through our Evening Master's program.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Arts, and I express the hope that your work will improve our understanding of public policy. Congratulations.
Maggie Elmarakbi. Erica Anna Espinosa. Anita Pancholi. Erin Elizabeth Reddy. Dalton James Whitworth. Brianna Winter. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Arts in International Development and Policy by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Arts in International Development and Policy, and I express the hope that your work will improve our understanding of public policy. Congratulations.
Maria Angelica Benavides Camacho. Mariana Deschamps. Wafa Aben Bari. Ariana Garcia Reyna. Alejandro Damaso Gonzalez Lopez. Pedro Hernandez Santa Maria. Cesar Jara Trujillo. Meng Han Kang. Neha Lawani Hejde. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Public Policy by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Public Policy, and I express the hope that your work will guide public policy towards the enhancement of the public good. Congratulations.
Aniruth Ajit. Sayed Wakar Alam. Angel Aliceda Alonso. Laura Benray. Nilanjala Baich Aria. Mary Irene Burke. Zihan Chun. Daniela Hunju Choi. Jeanline Fu. Yubing Gi. Shannon Emiko Ghetto. Dora Mariana Gonzalez. Utsav? Okay. Utsav Gandhi. Jack Greeny. Taylor Griffin. Guillermo Guevara Gomez. Catherine Uting Jing. James Johnson. Elliot Gary Carl. Laura Keene. Izzy Herstrit Licht. Emma Lofgren. Okay. Robing Yu. Ashwarya Mahajan. Asher Mayerson. Juan Camilo Mejia Castellanos. And Kathleen O'Brien. Eduardo Ortiz Alvarado. Jesus Pacheco Vera. Yeyun Angeline Park. Susan Elizabeth Pakin. Rohail Premji. Miguel Rosales Legoreta. Alexandra Salgado. Shambhavi Sani. Sumya Sinha. Kira Sturgill. Christine Gia. Luis Fonseca. Andrew Philip Wise. Brianna Lachey Whitfield. Cecilia Yarza Del Villar. Eliana Hongju Yoon. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Isaac? Is Isaac around? All right. Come on up, Isaac. We have an additional Master of Arts in International Development and Policy student to acknowledge, Isaac Deborah. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Science in Computational Analysis and Public Policy by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Science in Computational Analysis and Public Policy, and I express the hope that your work will improve our understanding of public policy. Congratulations.
Vedika Ahuja. Felipe Alamos. Bhargavi Ganesh. Tammy Glazer. Nora Hajar. James Jensen. Parth Kare. Eric Hogan Langowski. Alec McMillan. Belen Michelle Torino. Cecile McWilliams Murray. Andres Nihenda Sarate. Jose Elias Seriana Bravo. Angelica Valdavieso Isa. Juan Villa. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Dean Baker, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Science and Policy by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Science and Policy, and I express the hope that your work will improve our understanding of public policy. Congratulations.
Ishan Banerjee. Sushmita Singha. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. Dean Baker, the students I now present have attained scholarly distinction in advanced studies and prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research. On behalf of the faculty of the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy as confirmed by the Board of Trustees.
The trustees have conferred upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and I welcome you to this ancient and honorable company of scholars. Congratulations.
Catherine Baird. William Delgado. Rebecca Gerges. Mariana Laverde. Chanyu Ju. Please join me in congratulating these graduates. I would now like to introduce Dean Catherine Baker to make closing remarks.
Class of 2020, congratulations again. As you reflect on your accomplishments, I'm in awe of everything you've done, not only because you finished your studies amidst a pandemic, but also because of the impact you've already made in your short time as Harris alumni. I have no doubt today that we have impressed the best and brightest minds in each of you working in public policy. Indeed, this was Irving Harris's original intent in founding our school 3 decades ago, and the legacy each of you carry forward as alumni. On behalf of the Harris School, I couldn't be happier to celebrate you today and to call you alumni. Congratulations.
This concludes our ceremony. Congratulations. We ask that our guests remain seated until the graduates and faculty party formally process. Again, thank you so much for coming, and congratulations again to our 2020 graduates.